Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Water Cooler. This is episode 36, and it's December 16th. I'm here with Francisco, who is
Hello,
one of our reference librarians at the library. And
that's me here again.
thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you, Francisco, for coming back.
No problem.
Your
Thank
your
you for the offer.
triumphant return back to the Water Cooler.
Yes.
So,
Things.
for those of us, or any watchers, viewers that don't know who you are, who are saying, "Who's this? This isn't Allison. This isn't Bobby." Who can you tell us just a little bit about who you are? What do you like to do on your spare time,
Mhm.
and how do you like working at the library? Because you're fairly new.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, I'm Francisco. I'm a reference librarian. I've been here for about 9 months, I believe. And this is actually I think the third time I've been in the water cooler. Um, Something I like to do in my spare time. Well, you might be thinking, duh, you're a librarian, so you must like to read. And yeah, you will be correct. I like
Nice,
to read a lot. But I also like to play video games and spend time with friends, watching movies. Um, yeah,
nice.
that's what I like to do in my spare time. Also writing. I've been getting into writing a lot.
What kind of video games are you into?
I'm a Nintendo person.
Nintendo. Okay, it's a
Yeah,
Switch.
yeah, I like Nintendo Switch. I have 3DS as well and everything. Hey, Grace.
Zelda in that.
Zelda, yes.
Nice.
Pokemon, Mario. Also, other games that are from other platforms like Fire Emblem and things like that. It's fun.
Nice.
And I
Cool.
also like to play games from other consoles like Xbox and PlayStation with friends when they invite me to play around.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a PlayStation person myself.
yeah.
And now I don't have the PS5 yet.
Yet.
Hopefully Santa brings that to me. If not, I'm gonna have to wait on it for next year.
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go into that right now. What's up, Dustin? How's it going, man? So we're gonna talk about. So we're gonna always at the beginning of the show we do a couple of things, which is one is the celebrity birthdays, which pure transparency, there weren't a lot of good celebrity birthdays today, so we're gonna skip that
Mhm.
one. But today is a really important day in history. Now I'm gonna share the screen. Celebrity birthdays. Here we go. Today, Francisco, is National Covered Anything Day. How does
National
that make you
Chocolate
feel?
Covered Anything Day.
Chocolate
I mean,
covered anything day.
I guess it can be a day for anything at this point. I mean, there's
Yeah,
but I mean that's worthy of a day because chocolate is delicious. A lot of people don't like chocolate, and I'm surprised, but I mean that's a lot of people like chocolate, so it makes
what
sense.
is your favorite chocolate covered thing?
I like the Queen Anne cherries. You know
Okay,
which
yeah,
ones? The ones in the red box. Oh, I love those.
it's right
Those
here.
are yeah. Oh yeah.
Chocolate covered cherries. I like just the peanuts, chocolate covered peanuts or almonds.
Yeah.
There's raisins, which are really good.
The
And then,
raisinets.
have you ever heard of chocolate covered potato chips?
Yes, I have. I haven't had
Really?
them, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, I had never heard of chocolate covered potato chips. Apparently, that's a thing right here.
It is. Yeah.
Can you guess what this is right here? Top right.
I can see from the distance, but
Let me try to
it's
get
like
in a little more.
chocolate covered something. I don't know.
Let me go a little closer. This right here.
uh, chocolate covered leaves.
Leaves. No,
I don't know.
that's chocolate covered bacon.
Ah,
Apparently, that's a thing also. And then this right here. Can you guess what this is?
it looks like chocolate covered concrete, but
Concrete. No.
I don't know
This
what
one
it
right here.
is.
This is chocolate covered. Anyone in the chat can guess it. It's marshmallow,
Oh,
which is a
nice.
little more traditional. And this one I thought was really just
It's like
out of this world.
marzipan or what?
This right here is actually chocolate covered
Marzipan?
cheese. It's curd
Oh, cheese.
or like some sort of dairy,
I
that kind
see.
of thing. So apparently that's a thing in Austria, which I had never heard of.
Mm.
Chocolate covered curd, which
I
I
mean, it
mean,
looks
I
good.
guess whatever floats your boat, right?
Well, imagine like a miniature cheesecake. I mean, maybe something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So here we go. So I know you've been doing a video series
Hmm.
And your next one coming up is actually dropping on Christmas Day.
Yes,
And
25th.
can you explain what it is and what you want to talk about right now?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that video is gonna be about the history of Christmas. And Christmas, it didn't start the way we know it right now with all that cozy family time, being together and happy. No, it actually, in Scandinavia, for example, and this is something I'm gonna mention in that video. So stay tuned for that video. In Scandinavia, they had their specific celebration where they burned these logs, and each spark of fire represented an animal, a farm animal that was gonna be born in the following year, and this was on the winter. And Romans had a specific celebration called Saturnalia, where it was just a time of partying and drinking, and people. It was just a very hedonistic, very very fun, loving time. Um, and then it was not until the 19th century in America, which, let me make a little digression here. This is something I didn't mention in the video,
Yeah.
but the pilgrims that were here in America, in the 17th century, around the time, they did not believe in Christmas. They were against it. Actually, in some places, as I was doing my research, I read that some people would get fined for having Christmas related paraphernalia.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that in Boston at the time they were
yeah,
fining like 5 shillings or five whatever if you were
yes,
celebrating, yeah, Christmas.
yeah, and there was this, later on they started becoming more accepting, but it was this writer named Washington Irving. So Washington Irving is the guy that wrote the Sleepy Hollows legend, the one of the headless horseman.
Hmm.
Rip and Winkle, that man that fell asleep and woke up like 20 years later or something like that. I can't remember
Yeah,
the exact, probably butchered the number, but it was some crazy number like that. But he wrote some stories about Christmas, and he portrayed it as a time of family, a time of sharing and peace. And that's how the way we celebrate Christmas came about, partially, right? But he had a big influence on that. But
right.
that portrayal of Christmas was an invention of his, according to historians. It was not something that was already there. I mean, back then, as I was saying, Christmas was a time of partying and having fun and getting
Yeah,
drunk and you
the
know,
articles kind of mentioned that it was kind of like a Mardi Gras kind of like a
yeah.
atmosphere where like peasants or like lowly people would actually they
Hmm.
they said that they would go into wealthy people's houses and kind of like demand them to give them items and food and like their drinks and stuff. So like yeah, Washington Irving, I
Rudy,
guess thankfully
can you
reinvented.
share can you share Bobby's word, debauchery? That's the word I was looking for. That's basically what it was. It was a time of
That's
debauchery. Yes.
so thankfully, or I guess whoever, I guess it depends on who you're asking. Mr. Irving here reinvented basically everything we knew or they knew about Christmas back in the day, and said,
Yes.
"Hey, let's tone it down. Let's make it like a family thing," and it's basically what we have now.
Exactly. And then Santa Claus. Don't get me started with Santa Claus.
We'll
I
get you
mean,
started just a little bit on Santa Claus. Give us just a little bit.
what was that? Yeah.
Give us just a little bit on Santa Claus.
Yeah. So Santa Claus, he existed apparently. I mean, but not the Santa Claus that we know. And he was a man. He was actually not born in the North Pole. He was born in what is now known as southwestern Turkey, in Patara. I think that's the name of the place. But he was Greek. He was of Greek origin. So that's pretty interesting, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
wouldn't associate the ancient Greece with Christmas and Santa Claus, but yeah. Um, so there's a lot of interesting stories associated with this person named Saint Nicholas. There's one of the legends says that he wanted to rescue these girls from being sold into slavery by dropping the sacks of gold into their house so that their father could sell them into marriage, which I guess is slightly less bad than slavery, right? But you know, better than slavery for sure.
But yeah, he was known as like the saint of like the downtrodden, the children.
Yeah.
And Bobby says here, talk about the mushrooms and elves associated with Santa.
Well, I don't know when the elf day came about. I couldn't find something related to that. So that would be something interesting to look into. I'm actually curious where did the whole elf thing come from? I guess it's the
Yeah,
whole pagan association when with Christmas, because as you know, Christmas has a lot of pagan um, roots. As I
right.
mentioned, the Scandinavian and the Saturnalia from the ancient Rome. So maybe it's that whole pagan association that later on lumped the elves with Christmas, but I wouldn't be sure. Honestly, that's just a guess. It's just an educated guess.
And so,
It
and
will be interesting to look into.
this is the very first drawing or caricature of the Saint Nicholas Santa Claus. The
Yeah.
cartoonist Thomas Nast drew several depictions of Santa Claus for Harper's Weekly back in 1881. So this
Uh-huh.
is one of the very first, probably the first drawing of what Saint Nicholas would be. So it actually was for propaganda or a post about unions and
Mhm.
how the government was failing veterans and soldiers and not paying them with their fair share, what he thought was a fair share. So actually, he has right here in his back, it's an army backpack, I think, or a military backpack, and he's also wearing an army belt. So he was actually like a unionized propaganda piece for for this gentleman Thomas Nast, and we kind of just ran with it. We gave him a big old satchel, and he kept the belt.
Hmm.
So that was our Santa Claus that we know of today.
I see.
So very interesting. Yeah, you never really realize all this history that these holidays have until you actually delve into it, right? And do this research. And that was a really good article that you and I both looked into the history of Christmas from the
Yeah.
History Channel.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very good article.
So now we'll move on to this is a lighter little thing here. So in Seoul, Korea, South Korea, there is a cafe which I think is called Cat Garden, and they foster or they welcome a bunch of like street cats or any cats who've just been abandoned, and they let the cats come in and roam free and they feed them. So let me just play this video while we enjoy it. So there are some cats here. I put the captions on. Maybe not. So this says Merry Christmas, and they're out there in Seoul, South Korea, and it's the cat garden. And you can see how many cats they have. It's just like hundreds and hundreds of cats. And
Wow.
they dress up the cats for the holidays, and they put like little Santa outfits. And there they are feeding the cats. Are you a cat person, Francisco, or a dog
I like
person?
cats a lot. I love dogs and I love cats. I like both of them.
You like both? Okay.
Yeah, I mean they have different personalities and both of them have their awesome parts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cats have their like the chill vibe. Well, from what I've seen on TV, right? I don't have any pets myself,
I mean
but like
both
cats
have
have
their negatives and positives. I mean, and dogs can be really noisy and oh my god. But they are very friendly, right? As we know. And cats, I mean, they get associated with and very cold, but that's actually not very true. They do form an attachment with their owners, and they can be very perceptive.
definitely.
So
I used to have this is a long time ago, over 10 years ago by now, but there was a cat. They used to neighborhood, and it was just
mhm.
and it was a really nice looking cat. It was a really nice dark gray. Um, Grace is just loving this rescue cat cafe. So let me go through it. And it just would come around, and I'd give it like tortillas and like water or milk or whatever. And it was really nice. It was a really nice cat, and it would like cuddle next to you. I wouldn't get too close to it because it was a street cat, but it would like kind of graze you, and it was a really nice cat. And he left, and I never saw it again.
Hmm.
It was a nice cat though. That was my only like time of my life that I had a cat for a little amount of time, and it was just about a week or two. So that cat there is on this person's shoulder, and this one is just like a gentleman laying down with cats all around him. So I thought that was a cool little thing in Korea. They have a cat cafe, cat garden, where
Yeah.
they come in some street cats. So now the very last story, Francisco, that I wanted to touch on. This one I kind of brought up out of nowhere, out of the blue, and I kind of said, I wonder if Francisco would want to talk about this. And you said yes, so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, this for those viewers who watch us regularly, thank you first of all. But you know that we talk about extraterrestrial stuff. Bobby and I used to talk about the lottery a lot, where like winners would do all kinds of crazy things. But over these past couple of months, actually recently, I don't know if it's the coronavirus. People are just too sheltered at home or something. But you know, these monoliths started popping up, right, Francisco?
Yes.
Uh, what do you think about those monoliths? Because we
I
talked about
definitely.
those here for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I didn't get your take on it.
I definitely think it's a prankster. I mean, I think it's an artist or a prank, some kind of practical joker that's going around putting those monoliths on there. Um, I mean, it's fun to think about. I mean, some alternative theories, right? But more than likely, it's just a prankster. I mean, they look kind of cool, though. I wouldn't lie. I mean, so prankster, if you're listening to us, you can keep doing that. Just don't get in trouble, please.
Keep it up. Yeah, stay out of trouble. Keep it up. Don't do it in any sacred places. But like, yeah, keep them popping up in Romania and California. We talked about the Utah one. Um, we talked about it when it appeared, and then the next week I think we talked about it when they had taken it down.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it's some sort of artist who's doing one of those pieces, those performance pieces that they're out in the middle of nowhere, and they're putting up this silver monolith. But okay, so this thing kind of came up in the news maybe a week or two ago. So this title, or sorry, this headline is former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it. And he's talking about President Trump. It says a galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. Haim Eshed said. That was the former security chief. And I'm kind of just gonna just play this video here in the background. So Francisco, when you first read this article or when you first saw it, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, let's see what this is about, but I'm pretty sure someone later on is gonna come to explain it away somehow. I mean, I'm waiting. I mean, I want to believe, like they say, but I like Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So meaning that I mean, yeah, if aliens are indeed here, that's something extraordinary, but I mean, definitely it's gonna take more than what the Israeli professor said for me to accept
Mhm.
that extraterrestrials are here. But I mean, if they're here, awesome. I mean, I mean, I definitely think there's life out there in the universe. I mean, there's no way we're the only ones. The only thing is the whole coincidence in time. The universe is also not only infinitely big, but also so old that to think that we would match in the time scales, it's kind of you know kind of unlikely. I mean, both in time scale and also them finding us is kind of, yeah. But I mean, it's possible.
I know I did see an article last week or so that there was actually a study from Oxford, I believe. And if
Yeah.
we can find the article and post it in the comments now, moderators, it was from Oxford, and their study actually kind of debunked the whole thing about extraterrestrial life out there. So they in their study they kind of outlined that humans or our species it came from we went through so much evolution this and that
Hmm.
in like millions of years that there would be no way for any other extraterrestrial life to
For it
have
to
the
exist.
same kind of evolution that we had. and they kind of just downplayed the whole thing of like, hey, there's no way that there's any other
Mhm.
life other than us in the solar
There
system.
there is a minority of scientists that think that we're pretty special when it comes to life in the universe, but it's a minority. I mean, the consensus is that life's got to be out there somewhere. And each time we keep finding more and more evidence that just inches closer and closer to us finding life. Um, I mean, we've been finding a lot of evidence for water in Mars, because I mean, there's life in Mars, but I mean,
Yeah.
there might have been. But the fact that we found water, that's, I mean, it shows that it's not just an Earth that it appears. I mean, it appears in other bodies, and it must be pretty ubiquitous. And as you know, water is pretty. It's a very important. How do you call it? It's a
Resource.
it's a very important resource for life, right? It's a compound that is essential for life to exist as we know it, right? Life as we know it. So, because there's also the possibilities that science fiction writers, um, hard science fiction writers and scientists also have explored. Um, there's the moon of on Titan, the moon of Saturn called Titan.
Yep.
There's oceans of methane, liquid methane. So scientists have explored the possibility of life based on nitrogen. I think that we use nitrogen or something like that. I don't remember the exact details, but it was a different kind of life from what we know. Um,
Very, yeah, it's all very interesting. I definitely don't know too much about it, but this headline kind of caught my attention.
yeah,
Like I said, it did come out about a couple of weeks ago, and it's been about 2 or 3 weeks, and I kind of let it simmer to see what happened, and then I'm bringing it to the forefront now. And I think
yeah.
one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was that there's an unidentified, what was it? Hold on. There's a galactic federation that has an agreement with with the planet Earth for them to run tests on Earth, um, and us, I guess, be okay with it. There's an agreement between the U.S. government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
So
That kind of just is outlandish to me. I mean, an agreement between the U.S. government and extraterrestrial beings.
you want to hear something interesting? It
Yes.
was Stephen Hawking said this, that the same way that, because you're talking. I mean, let's say these aliens are here and they're doing experiments.
Mhm.
Their technology is way beyond anything we can achieve, like within our lifetimes, or even our children's and grandchildren's lifetimes.
Right.
I mean, who knows, right? But still, it's really advanced technology. So these individuals have the power to wipe us out if they wanted to. And
True.
Stephen Hawking was making the argument that, I mean, an advanced extraterrestrial civilization that manages to reach us would probably treat us the same way that the Spanish treated Native Americans. So it wouldn't go very well. And he was advising caution because there's this project called SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
Mhm.
So people who are looking for signals, there's also another group that is sending signals to out there, and he was saying that we should be careful with that. It's basically almost like you're summoning a demon or
Right. Right.
some kind of superpower, right?
Kind of like be
Because you
careful
never
what you wish for.
be careful what you wish for. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I guess that whole thing that people warn about the occult, don't call up these spirits because you never know what's gonna happen, right? Same thing with the aliens. I mean, it's kind of repeating. Be careful what you're
Be careful what
calling,
we wish
because
for,
they might come here and it might not be very pretty.
and just wipe us out.
They could.
So, just the last thing I want to point out here, Ished added that President Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing the information, but was
Yeah.
asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria.
Uh-huh. I
So,
mean,
thankfully, our president withheld the information for a little while longer
yeah.
and didn't cause this mass hysteria. Very nice of him to do it. Thank you. So that's kind of what I wanted to end on this week. Francisco,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us. Let
Thank
us
you.
let us know again one more time when your video is going to drop on the history of Christmas.
The History of Christmas video is gonna appear in the MPL Adults and the main page on Facebook on December 25th at 12 p.m. So stay tuned and enjoy that video.
Everyone huddle around the family. Get
Mhm.
your video or your Facebook on your phone and stream Francisco's video on Christmas Day. Just another present from us that you can open on Christmas Day.
Yes.
All right.
Enjoy.
I'm signing off. Everyone have a good day. Francisco,
Have a good day, Rudy. Have a good day, everyone. Take care
take
and happy
care. Stay
holidays.
safe. Happy holidays, and we'll see you all next time. Bye bye.